Greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 59th live stream from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I'm your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussions. On today's homebrew review, we have a viewer-submitted subclass. We have it from one of our newest followers, Drabz, and it is going to be a wizarding subclass, or a wizard subclass. We are going to not try and rush this too much, but at the same time, we are dealing with the potential of power outages right now. So just kind of hopefully bear with us. We're going to do our best not to rush, but also get to the content as soon as we can, just because we've been having some issues. So let me go ahead and bring Kage in. Hello. Thank you for being able to be here on a Tuesday. It's a little bit off schedule.
It's a little off, but we got it. We make it work. We were so close to making it happen last night, but then at the last minute,
hang on.
things decided to do what they do. Whatever, it's fine.
Do what they do.
Yes, but I mean, we're here now. We made it work. I mean, Tuesday's a good day. I mean,
Yeah, Tuesday's fine.
Did we used to stream on Tuesdays?
Used to be, like, originally.
Okay, see, that's what I thought. Yeah, like it's like having a flashback.
Like the very OG
OG experience.
D&D discussions.
That's right.
Cosmic, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you. I know it's an off day, but we appreciate the diligence and the consistency, man. It's really awesome to always see the same. I would say same faces, but we don't see faces on here. So.
That's fair.
But it's great. It's great to see you
gamer
guys.
Tags. Are they considered gamer tags in Twitch?
I don't think so. I mean, usernames. I mean, Twitch names. I don't know. That's the whole thing. Is like it's changed for so long. I always just call it my tag or my like because I mean I guess username's pretty universal.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it's like, well, I mean, then again though, I do have a graffiti tag for it, and it's and I use it for a lot more than just games. So I mean, it's even on my arm. So I guess tag is a lot of a more personal term for me than just the fact that it's my username.
I like that.
But yeah, so great to see you guys. So crazy. We've had some crazy weather this weekend, which in my neighborhood, well, I would say my neighborhood we the freeway nearby, power lines went down, shut down the freeway, shut down major access to our neighborhood, and we were out of power for like 2 days. So that wasn't too bad. We didn't lose too much, and we played some board games. It was fine. And I mean, 2 days isn't that long. It was like intermittent. I think we had like maybe 10 hours
it's like
in between.
Going camping, except inside your house.
Yeah. And then apparently, I was trying to look it up, but apparently the crew was working on it yesterday, and it was up all day. It was it was up for a couple hours during the day, and right before stream, just everything shut off. The road's still closed out there. They're still working on it, so that's
crazy.
why they said something about on the website. They said something about like equipment malfunctioned. So I don't know if that was like the temporary workaround malfunction.
Interesting.
So that's why we're concerned that it might happen again because they are still working on it. They're working on it through Thursday. Yeah, it's only Tuesday. They're working on it through Thursday. So I could lose power at any point. That's just been what's happening. So that's why we are streaming on an alternate day on Tuesday, because we had to, and I didn't want to miss one. Honestly, I was thinking about this. I'm still kind of mad that I did not start a week early like I wanted to, but it just kind of wouldn't have felt right to start like right at the beginning of January. But it's like because these are numbered because we ended at 50 last year, and now we're at 50. Like I was kind of mad about missing one. I didn't want 59 to suddenly be Friday and then it get off. So I was like, no, okay. And then I didn't want to push all of the homebrew reviews another week. So I was like, okay, you know what? We'll slip one in if we can this week if we can.
Let's do it
because I really wanted to make sure that we keep this pace. You know what I mean? I didn't want to like miss anything. So, all right. So. With that all being said,
School of Fiendish Tradition.
Let's get to that. So we have, I think, so this is, if I remember correctly, let me take a look real quick. I don't think we've had another viewer submitted class yet, have we? No, we have. We've had some okay, so let me check here.
I did submit one. That was a subclass. Well, this is a subclass.
Yeah. Okay. So we have had. Okay, we have class and okay. So we've done 3 subclasses. No, we've done 1. Oh, interesting. Oh, those didn't get updated with the new category types. I see. That makes sense.
Oh, got you.
But that's fine. So we had 2 D&D Beyond ones, and then you submitted one. Oh, this was your Circle of the Leaf. Okay.
That's right.
That's right. Circle of the Leaf. Okay. So yeah, so this will be our official first viewer submitted one.
Yes.
But our second official homebrew one. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Go away now. Oh my gosh. Why won't you go away? I just want to clear the filters. Clear all. Select all. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's not quite Excel. So all of the things I know instinctually
Exactly.
like just don't work inherently.
I'm like, what? Whatever, it's fine.
Oh, I appreciate that, Cosmic. He's the marble streamer that he mods for. He's trying to see if at the end he might try to get us a raid.
Oh,
so that'd be
snap.
really great. I
Oh, that'd be
appreciate
way
that,
cool.
Cosmic. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah,
I
that'd
mean,
be a
you
lot
know,
of fun.
obviously no pressure. I don't know if we're really his viewerships
The
like,
same
interest,
demographic.
but I mean, I do appreciate it very
Hey,
much so. Thank you.
there can
And
be
we
some
actually have it.
crossover.
We actually have it set up this time, so we won't miss it. As long
Right?
I remember the very first time I got rated was because of Cosmic. He actually did this very thing. So he, the group that he mods for, they raided over one night, and it was super early on. I was by myself. I'm in the middle of ranting about. I think I was in the middle of a game. I don't even think I was
really?
D&D discussions. I think I was in the middle of a game, and I'm just going off on something, and then it was like several minutes later, I look over and chat's like blown up a little bit, and I just completely missed the fact that I got raided.
That's
People
crazy.
like I was so like I literally was so like messed up about it. I was just like that was the weekend that like all the alerts came up. Like that was literally after
Facts.
that. It was when I got all of my alerts set up, all of the notifications, all of the audio stuff. Just, I was like, I'm not missing that again. Like that was, cause I felt bad because like, you know, it's like, I get it. Sometimes it happens and, you know, I'm new, whatever. But it was just one of those things where I'm just like, I actually didn't get to actually experience it. So,
That's fair. That's fair.
but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I do appreciate you, Cosmic. Thank you so much. No worries if it doesn't happen. But hey, it would be kind of cool, right? I don't think Brian's seen that yet, so that would be kind of awesome.
Of course.
So yeah, so let me pull this up here. Okay, so getting into our actual homebrew review. So this is from one of our newest followers, Drabz. This is a wizard subclass called School of Fiendish Tradition. So I already like the name. Most of the time it's not just like School of Illusion, School of Thoughts, School of, demons. Like, this is kind of nice to have like a fiendish tradition. That already inspires me to read on. So again, I really like a good name. I like a good
Right.
lore. I'm hoping there's going to be some good lore behind this. I keep looking over here on this screen. I should be looking at this screen. Okay, so wizard subclass. So description: conversing and studying with fiends and demons requires you to take the first steps in this tradition. Interesting. Okay, so the lore behind this is more of when you're researching specifically demons and fiends within black magic and in your wizarding school. Okay.
Interesting.
At least that's how I'm interpreting it. Don't worry, just spilled water on my my keyboard over here. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So that's all we get. So that's all we get at that point. So conversing and studying with fiends and demons requires you to take the first step in this tradition. I don't know if that is written intentfully. Am I misreading that, or because what I initially pull out of that is that the first step is that you're diving into the world of fiends and demons, but then it goes straight to a level 2 feature. So I'm just wondering, with that, it's basically like,
I think
because it's a subclass, you don't typically take on a subclass until what, level 3?
Yes, but so there are some that are vary. So clerics, for whatever reason, you can get your subclass at very first level. Druids, you get your subclass at second level, or maybe that's just wild shape.
Okay.
I think I think some of them get your subclass a little bit earlier than others, but for the majority of them, it is third level.
Okay, and that's what I was wondering. So either this is just backstepping with that level 2 feature. It's either just giving you backdated stuff, or it's intended to be. It's intended to be a second level subclass take, like feature, or you could say that because first level is usually so quick. Even if you are this subclass, it doesn't manifest because the first level is you researching and conversing with the fiends and the demons. But okay, I just want to make sure that I was reading that right and I wasn't missing anything. But that's how I took it, is that it's just the lore descriptor behind the fact that you're taking that step into the dark side.
Yes, that's what I understand it to be as well.
All right, and then we have our level 2 features. So, Fiendish Understanding. At level 2, you have mastered reading, writing, and speaking Abyssal and Infernal. Additionally, the gold you used to learn summon demon spells is halved. Okay, hold on. So I get the first part. At level 2, you basically get Abyssal and Infernal. Mm-hmm. Totally understandable. I don't understand problems with like I don't see any problems with things like that. Like, especially with just 2 languages. I mean, it wouldn't be good to have like a bunch, but I think rewarding with language I don't see very often. I don't want to say it's underused because I think language is just an underused device, period. I think 9 times out of 10 you see it used simply to make you not have information until later.
Yeah.
It's not even a plot device, it's a plot delay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Obstacle.
Or a puzzle or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, like a dialogue
or whatever.
Yeah, or you're trying to have like some role play with like, like a language barrier or something like that. So I think it's good. I don't dislike that part. Although this makes me question, because again, there's so many spells out there. How many summon demon spells are there? What are we talking about? Because it's a good
question.
It's a low enough level that it makes me worried about it, right? Because at level 2, you're getting something that costs you half gold. But then again, what is considered a summon demon spell? Because all you're getting is half the gold on learning it, which I think is actually brilliant. If there's even if there's are a ton, it kind of makes sense that you would learn them quicker and easier and for less money because they would come naturally to you. I like the idea.
So there are only 2 that I've found. One's a 3rd level, one's a 4th level. One summon lesser demon, one summon greater demon.
That's what I thought. Those were the ones that came to my mind, is just summon lesser demon. So I'm like, so unless he's just talking about, so basically starting at level 2, even though you wouldn't be able to cast those spells at level 2 in the future, they're just going to be half cost.
Yeah.
I feel like, at level 2, you don't want that to be too more powerful, but I feel like,
I don't feel like it would be bad if you just said summoning spells. I don't think that, like, even if you were like summoning Fae or summoning like it's along the idea of what the class is going towards.
Let me see if I can.
And so I guess having an affinity for that spell type would make sense, and making it easier for you to do so and making it cost you less resources to do so, would make sense.
There's something like Summon Fiend, so that could be,
sure.
That's another thing, like I would say depending on.
But are they all different levels, or are all most of them like?
I don't have. Yeah, it's in Tasha's Cauldron, so I don't have that. But so I'm wondering if maybe if you're using an expanded rule set, that would make a lot of sense that you would get you would get that, because there's a lot of summon differences. I would even say I wouldn't 3rd
level to 6th level.
I wouldn't mind saying anything, you get half the cost to learn any summon spell of evil or demonic fiend nature, basically covering, like, you wouldn't be able to use it to do like a summon
or something like that.
Yeah, or summon a nature creature or something like that. You wouldn't get the druid summons, you wouldn't get creature summons, you wouldn't be able to summon friendly animals, but the idea would be the summons would be anything. And I don't have anything off the top of my head because like the lesser demon was the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
But if you have an expanded subset, there's got to be ones that like state that the creature is evil, or if it describes it as being, demonic, abyssal, infernal. Any of those indicators, I would say, would be in the now half list. Because otherwise, again, at the same time, it's like you're getting a bonus at level 2 that you won't be able to benefit from because when's the first time you can learn a level 3 spell?
5th level.
So so at level 2, so you get a bonus at level 2 that you can't use for 3 levels. I'm not saying it's like it's level 2. You shouldn't be getting that much at level 2, but if you're gonna give them something that's very specific to being a master at reading and researching fiends and demons, I really think that you should be getting more perks that direction, whether it's at 2nd or 3rd level. But yeah, I think that can be buffed out just a little bit by giving it the half cost for any summons of a evil, demonic, abyssal, infernal, and anything with those identifiers that you and your DM would say.
That's fair.
That's where I would go with that. But again, I do kind of like the idea of at 2nd level. I mean, even if you just dropped that, even if we just forgot the half gold cost and basically just left it as at 2nd level, you get abyssal and infernal, fine. Works too. I think that works too.
It's a good feature.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. If you've been, again, studying and doing that, it kind of unlocks everything.
And I think there are other classes that reflect that very similarly as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Let me, because we have this one. Yes, Cosmic, yours is next week. I just wanted to verify that for you. Yours is next week. But yeah, so I like that. I think if you're going to add the summon demon spell half thing, expand it to anything, any summon spell on that spectrum. Okay, so level 3 feature, True Name. At 3rd level, you can attempt to learn a demon's true name by focusing your magic and pushing your intent to know onto them, then using your bonus action, make an intelligence check versus their wisdom check. If you pass, you learn their true name. If you fail, they have advantage the next time it's used on them. Interesting. So I like this, but I have to change it for high point purposes, and I think I know where they're going with this, but because yes, especially depending on what rule set you use or even what lore you personally use, knowing a demon's true name basically gives you control over them, or in some respect it gives you advantage with them.
Okay.
You can either summon that. So, depends on your, what background you're looking at. Their true name allows you to summon them. Allows you to, basically command them. It also is just, it's kind of like a blackmail thing, because if you know their true name, you can give that out, and then somebody else can use it against them. Mm-hmm. So depending on what you base your mindset on, true name would be perfect for the demon concept. I'm trying to understand. So you can learn to attempt to do all of that, and pushing your intent to know them. So you take a bonus action. So, oh, hey, there we go. We are getting rated.
Oh,
what is
goodness.
up? J7 Coin, thank you guys so much for the rate. 12 viewers. Oh, my gosh. Thank you guys so much.
Well,
that is so big.
Welcome,
12 viewers
everyone.
is insane. Oh, my God. J7, thank you guys so much. I hope you had a great stream. I hope you guys have had a good start to your week so far.
Most definitely.
Wow, we have a lot of people. Mike Lord, thank you guys so much. Serotonin, thank you. Cosmic, thank you so much for arranging it. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the follow.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. We are actually just getting into our homebrew review today, Raiders. So if you guys are interested in D&D content and looking at homebrew, we're going over that right now. Thank you guys so much. Icy, thank you. Serotonin, thank you again for stopping by. Thanks for the raid. That's been awesome. I'm glad that actually worked out finally. That raid alert was really cool.
It almost felt like balloons were coming down in the room.
Right? That was actually really cool too, because that was the first time I've actually gotten to see that in action. So,
that's really dope.
Thank you for testing that out for me, guys. Appreciate it so much. I hope you guys had so much fun with J7. I've caught one or two of his streams, but I don't spend too much time on Twitch, so I don't catch a lot of streams out there. But I hope you guys had a good time. So we are just getting into the homebrew. We are now down to our level 3 feature. So learning the true name. So I think it's a great thing, depending upon what background you're looking at from, the perspective of, what lore you're looking at it from, right? So I think knowing that your name of a demon is really good. I don't really understand what he's trying to get at here in terms of how he's getting it, in terms of pushing your intent to know it on them, and then using a bonus action. So in my mind, if I'm using a bonus action, I'm already engaged in something. It doesn't have to be combat, but I'm engaged in some sort of activity to
Contest of wills or something like that.
Or yeah, I have to be doing something to base. I mean, like, it has to justify a bonus action. Why am I using a bonus action and not just doing the action, right?
Right.
A bonus action indicates that there has to be some sort of action economy happening, and it has to indicate that, again, whether you're in initiative in combat and you have some sort of, action order that you have to follow, or if you are doing a series of actions with an NPC and you have to, basically, you can only do so many at a time, right? Like, saying that it's a bonus action would tell me that you're engaged in something. So I would like to see this. I would like to see some sort of verbiage stating that this is like during summoning, or after you've summoned a demon.
Interesting.
Or after you've trapped one, because these are times that you could try to get it.
Like, I like that.
Because otherwise you're telling me I can just sit here at 3rd level and I can just sit here and go, no, didn't get his name. Got his name. Like, what demons am I grabbing names from, right? It doesn't really give me any concept of how I'm targeting demons other than I put my intent out there. So that's all, like, that's what I want to know is, how am I targeting these demons? And if they are in their own realm, if they are out and about, if I don't have line of sight, if I don't know if I don't have their name, how am I putting my intent out there to get them? And am I just getting a random name? Because especially after the Fallout here, if you get it, or if you pass, you learn their name. But if you fail, they have advantage next time. So this is telling me I know my target. I have to know that I am targeting that demon.
And I feel like it for me, it would make the most sense that this is a demon that, like, you said, you are interacting with. You just summon them. You've just trapped them. Like, they're immediately in your presence for some reason. Like, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, like, maybe possibly, like, maybe. What do you think about if I'm just having a conversation with you, like, and you are this demon, and I am just trying to peer into you, invest. Now, you can run away, you can do whatever I don't have you trapped, I don't have you kept here, but like, I am trying to.
So, and this is where I don't quite understand, because at 3rd level, I don't even think a base demon you would have the mental fortitude to just go, hey, let's have a conversation, and by the way, I'm just going to peer inside your mind. That's fair. I mean, even a level 1 demon, I just don't see it happening, right? So, like, if you've gotten this thing, I'm just trying to think, like, again, because he says bonus action, it makes me think of a fight, and that would make sense. You can use a bonus action after it's like 50%, damage, so it's not paying attention, or if it's in the middle of a concentration spell. Like there's so many questions I have of, in what context do I know the demon enough to know that I want their name, right? And so I guess that's where I'm just kind of confused when it says bonus action, make an intelligence check versus their wisdom check. Yeah. I like the check. That kind of makes sense, but that's telling me that, is this a mental battle? Like you said, is it a mental battle where I'm telepathically trying to get into their head and learn their name? Or is this a battle of wits and speech? Is this a silver tongue versus, a snake tongue, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where is this a situation where I'm like, hey, I've captured it, I'm in a fight with it, or I've just met one. And I know it's a demon. Once I know it's a demon, no matter what our banter, kind of like Thieves' Cant.
Yeah.
Is that what this is? Where it's like, I can basically use a demonic Thieves' Cant to see if I can whittle out their name.
I would swear I heard I believe it was Harry Dresden, that he was talking about looking into someone's eyes
That's the site.
The site?
The site. Yeah, that's the wizard site where you can like see like who they actually are.
So, describe it to me.
So there's the wizard site is, I mean, because there's the ability to open his third eye and see the world as it really is. But then he can also look into people. He can basically lock eyes, do the wizard look, and look into their soul, see basically a snapshot of everything they are, who they are. But they can also see into him, and it's something that you can never
So it's something
forget.
that he initiates.
Yes, it's something that wizards initiate.
And when he initiates it with you, no, does it happen anytime he looks into their eyes? Because like
it can. It basically, which is why he can't really like make eye contact, is because by making eye contact it begins, and it basically is kind of a draw. And if you sit too long, you basically get it. So he does talk a lot. Yeah, he does talk a lot about that and how. Because you can only do it once per person. So there are some people that he can have a conversation with and lock eye to eye, and it'll never happen because it's already happened. So it's like, that's kind of a big deal when he has conversations and like looks at people for a long period. Like it's one of those things where it's like, I don't have to worry about it because it's already happened.
Yeah.
But that's a really interesting situation because that is something that you never forget. It's like basically burned into your memory. It's one of those things where
burned into both of you?
Yeah. And one of those things where you can't forget it. So the moment you recall it, it is perfect, never fading, exactly as it was fresh.
Think about Harry Dresden, though. That means everyone he's ever done it with is that fresh.
Yeah.
Every single.
It takes a toll on him throughout the books. It actually takes it. Like there's I don't want to ruin or give away anything, but he's
not Hellboy.
You can
what's to do with the flaming head?
Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider. That's some like Ghost Rider like pen and stare type stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is he's not only done it, but he's done it to too many of the wrong things. And what I do like about the book though is it keeps up with it. Is it does take a toll on him, and you see it. Like it actually like he does have issues with it, which is why I do add something like that to that class, because I think it's a fantastic mechanic for it.
That's crazy, but
because that's the I think it's in the book that's the soul gaze, and then there's the wizard's sight, which is opening up his third eye and being able to basically see things truly as they are, like basically dropping the veil and actually being able to like see the flows of energy, magic, and all of that stuff. See people, see their auras, see through illusions and things like that. And then there's the soul gaze, which is locking eyes and then being able to see inside someone. So, yeah, going back to True Name, I think that I don't know if this makes sense to be a mental trick, because you are just a wizard, right? You're about books, right? You're not about telepathy. But you're also not necessarily high in charisma, in the sense that you're not going to sweet talk someone or do that, right? So if you're going to do like...
But they are saying it is an intelligence-based check.
That's what I'm thinking. So intelligence versus the demon's wisdom, right? So it's more like... Now, in High Point, this would be easier to explain. I'm trying to explain it more for how it would make sense to the writer world, because depending on, again, the lore you use for demons, you can trap them depending upon whether or not you consider like what their background is, whether or not they will answer questions truthfully, in any specific way, or if their answers are truthful but misleading.
Right.
If it's that kind of, it depends on how you run your demon. Because if it's an intelligence versus wisdom, then it's I know how you're trying to get around the question, so I need to know what the right question is. So it could be a demon who has to answer, but will do everything they can to answer the wrong way, so you have to be smart enough to know what question to ask. Or it could be you basically have to back it into a corner to where it gives you enough information you can guess. Like, again, if that's your lore, kind of like, what's that new... Yeah, because there's... I forget the new game, Mortuary Assistant, but kind of like that, where... you have the concept where if you get enough pieces of information, you can, like, maybe again from your book, from all your studies, because you learned Fiendish, maybe if you're talking to demons, maybe in your game DM, you have a book that tells you how demons formulate their names. And if they're unwilling to tell you if you can get certain information, like a demon will always have what part of hell or what part he's from and what rank he is. Like,
are portions of a name valuable? Like, if you could, like, say a piece of it, like, so, like, imagine if there's, like, all demons have, like, a 4-part name or something like that. And if you, like, get this piece, like, you might be able to, like, influence
and that's
this
the thing.
or over
this is what I'm talking about, is depending upon that lore. So I'm looking at this as, it's not in, I wouldn't look at this as a telepathy battle. I'm thinking this is as a kind of a battle of wits. Or in a sense, if you understand how demons reverse talk, and I don't mean talk backwards, but if you know how they answer questions, if you know how they are designed to trick you, if you are smart enough, if you have enough intelligence to have researched this, to know how to interpret the answers, how to do this, I would allow something like this to basically be like, hey, I tricked you. You gave me enough information, but I would add in, it's the intelligence check versus the wisdom check. And then if you do that, I would even make it like, again, if you have a 4-part name, maybe you have to do it for each part.
Right.
Or if you pass, you learn one of 2 parts of their name, and then you have to do it again. And if you fail, they'll get the advantage, something like that. I also like the opposition. Instead of them having advantage in the future, I just like them learning your name. And I would add in the option of choosing. So it's like, hey, with this ability, I can I can talk to a demon. As long as I'm talking to him, I can make my first check and figure out how many parts to their name. And maybe that's it. Maybe you can make a whole thing where, depending on the level of the demon, that's how many names they have, right? Up to like 5. But you can make your first true name check. And as you're talking to them, you make it slip like how many names they have. And then every check after that is learning one of the names. And then if you ever fail, they learn, like if they have 5 names, they learn 1/5 of your name, kind of thing. Like, I would like to see something like that, but I think this could work. I think the idea based around this class, I don't mind the idea, because if you're also thinking about it too, this has nothing to do with combat. This has nothing to do with the party. This has nothing to do with enemies. This has literally no use outside of playing this class. Like, this is a 100% character focused class, like a player focused class.
Yes.
Because you learn Fiendish, or basically you learn Abyssal and Infernal, and you get to learn demons' names by level 3. So far, you're kind of useless. You're basically just a wizard. Like, to the rest of the party, you're still just a wizard who can now speak 2 more languages. I don't mind that. Like, I kind of think that's why I kind of would like to make True Name a little bit more robust in that aspect, because I think it has a lot of potential being something that you want to interact with more, right? Instead of being a one-time roll, maybe True Name also comes with, being able to identify if something's a demon. Or maybe at level, we haven't gone that far, but maybe later down the road, allow True Sight, to where you can use this and you have you can see the aura of demons and know if one's a demon, and then you can go back to True Name, right? Like, there's so many potentials with this, so I do like it. I think it's a keeper. I just think it needs to be built up a little bit more.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm thinking, I'm like battling back and forth, because I really think this would be a really cool concept, but I think that if maybe, like, as a second level feature, or even like the whole basis of this class was, like, I know there's some classes that have you have like companion animals and like one of the ranger subclasses and stuff like that, and I don't want to, but perhaps like maybe in this subclass the foundation of it could be you make a pact with a demon, and as you grow in the class, like, you grow in your strength in this pact with this demon. So like, maybe I can only summon him once for a minute every day, and then eventually I can like summon him for an hour, and eventually he's like my boy. I can have him like on call or whatever, and he gets more powerful. Or
what I was kind of hoping too is that this leads into all of these abilities to eventually, like, by level 10 to 15, you're able to basically like take over a demon and make it your companion, or make it your trap. Like the idea of, again, learning the true name, being able to entrap it, and then eventually being able to dominate it, and now it's like an actual ally to you.
And
that would be an interesting like progression of this too.
That would be.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with this.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of different
it.
ways that can be taken. So let's see. We just did level 3 feature. So let's do a level 5 feature. So we have the Fiend's Curse. At 5th level, you learn the spell Summon Lesser Demon spell. If not known already, when you summon a demon... Okay, if not known already. Okay, their punctuation isn't there. So I already have a problem with this, because isn't Summon Lesser Demon a level 3 spell?
Summon Lesser... Yes.
And normally you wouldn't get a level 3 spell until level 5, right?
Correct, which this is.
So why have at level 2 the ability to learn this at half cost before you're immediately, like, literally, why would you learn it for half cost before you can cast it, and the moment you can cast it, you automatically learn it? It just means that there's an inconsistency there, or that it wasn't fully thought through. And maybe that's just the problem of when you work on a project, leave, come back with a new idea, and you just kind of overlap. But I'm just noticing that kind of negates the need
for the half cost.
Because why would I buy the ability to learn a spell I can't cast?
Unless their intent was to include all the other summoning spells, and then they were like, it's just one, and it'll still be valuable for all the others. But if it's just the other summon spell, then it would likely not be nearly as overall beneficial.
I think that's a good point. Okay, so you learn the Lesser Demon spell, if not already known. When you summon a demon or demons, you can invoke a demon's curse on the newly summoned demon or demons. Then they are affected based on the curse used. I'm assuming that they're going to add other curses here. It seems like there's only one curse option, because it looks like the idea was once you summon them, you can invoke a curse, but there's only one option given. So maybe there's going to be more in the future.
Okay.
I can see that. Okay, so Life Leech Curse. When a demon dies, you siphon some of their life ends. Wow, okay, I can speak. Life Leech Curse. When a demon dies, you siphon some of their life essence, gaining your proficiency times the CR level of the demon, minimum of 1, of temp hit points. Okay, so you gain temporary hit points equal to their CR level times your proficiency modifier. Oh, there are other curses in here. I get it. These are all different curses. Okay, so Life Leech Curse is one curse. When they die, you can retrieve temporary hit points equal to their CR. I apologize.
That is my fault.
No worries.
I should have separated those.
Totally fine. Okay, so Life Leech Curse, not terrible. Not terrible.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what the other ones are. Bloody Rage Curse. When a demon is summoned, they are filled with madness, making all attacks with advantage on their enemies, but have attacks on them with advantage. Okay, so they have advantage, but everyone has advantage on them.
Kind of like reckless attack and rage.
Yeah. So basically, when a demon is summoned, they summon with rage. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't even mind that. Just call it that. They are summoned
raging
and raging, like regardless of class. That they're summoned raging. Because why not? Why not just get? Because especially if they're a demon, like. I mean, summoned, raging, that makes sense to make them immune to all of those normal amounts of damage anyway, or resistant, if they're not already immune. So how about just that? Just say that Life Leech, you get their CR times their proficiency. Blood Rage, you summon them raging. I totally think that's kind of sick. That would make sense. Flaming Shroud Curse. You can switch places with the demon that was summoned using your bonus action as long as you have sight on them.
That's sick. I would use that one a lot.
It's interesting that it's called Flaming Shroud.
I mean, I get the shroud part, but
I would almost, that's that's legit. Being able to switch places with any of your demons, I like that. So yeah, I think So at level 5, you not only get to summon lesser demon, but you get to use any of these curses. I don't think any of them are OP. They don't feel that bad. I mean, what CR is like a summon lesser demon? Like, what does that actually summon? Like a CR3?
Find out. Lesser demon. 2 demons of challenge rating 1 or lower, 4 demons of challenge rating 1/2 or lower, or 8 demons of challenge rating 1/4 or lower.
I see a problem. I see a problem. Do you see the problem? Do y'all see the problem? Because I see the problem. How about you hold on to rereading that. So remember, the idea is that at 5th level, you learn Summon Lesser Demon spell, what you just read off.
Yes.
So go ahead. At 5th level, I learned this beautiful spell. And what are the numbers of demons I can?
2 demons of challenge rating 1 or lower. 4 demons of challenge rating 1/2 or lower. 8 demons of challenge rating 1/4 or lower.
So I have infinite healing.
Infinite healing?
I have infinite healing because at 5th level, I can learn to summon lesser demon spell, if not already known. And when you summon a demon/demons, you can invoke a demon's curse on the newly summoned demon or demons. So if I choose Life Leech Curse, and I choose to summon 8 1/4 CR demons, I now have 8 demons on the field at 1/4 CR. According to Life Leech Curse, when a demon dies, you siphon some of their life essence, gaining your proficiency time their CR level of the demon, minimum 1.
Okay.
I have 8 demons that every time they die, they will heal me. And I can just keep pumping them out.
Well,
if I can figure out a way to keep summoning demons.
First of all, you're going to have to burn a 3rd level spell again. And at that level, you have 2 of those. Tops.
I mean, but more demons I'm just saying, like, the idea of that's a lot at that level to be able to have that many.
Because if I'm thinking about it, is that a total of 8 points of healing, or maybe 16 points of healing total?
Well, what's a good proficiency modifier?
So a proficiency modifier at level 5 is going to be 3. So 3 times 1/4.
No, but minimum 1. So it's going to be 3 times 8.
No. So I think the answer to 3 times 1/4 has to be a minimum of 1, is what it's saying.
Well, it says the CR level of the demon, minimum 1. So what I take that as is if it's a 1/4 CR, it's going to mean it's a minimum 1 CR.
Traditionally, in the way I've read all of the other times, 5th edition rules have been talking about a minimum amount. They're usually talking about an equation that they're having.
That's
the answer to that equation.
It's usually the outcome. But yes. I'm just looking at the way that this is written. He puts it specifically after the CR level.
But
I think it's because he's trying to overcome fractions.
If I don't think that's the case. I think you're trying to overcome fractions because fractions can make it less than 1 potentially. Yeah. And he doesn't want it to.
I think what you're saying is the way it should be. I just don't think that's the way it was written. Like, I think the idea was that he was trying to get away from fraction CRs by just saying that any demon summoned is considered at bare minimum CR level 1.
I would not read this that way.
But either way, it's still a lot, as the more demons you can summon, especially with Life Curse. I just feel like that has a lot of potential, not necessarily to be abused, but that has a lot of potential to be a good farm of HP. I mean, it's only temporary HP.
I would say if I was going to summon a demon, I would want them alive longer than I would want them to go away. And if I'm looking at it, if I have a CR of 3, that's what it would be 1. It would have to be 1. Now, if you're saying the CR was 1, then 1 times 3 would obviously be 3 for every single one of those demons, which
at an early level, that's what I'm talking about. At an early level, 3, that feels pretty powerful.
That could do a lot for you, right? Especially if you're just like throwing them up in front of you and like.
It's kind of like the cannon fodder idea. Again, it's not like a perfect strategy, but there is a a benefit to basically kind of having like
Right.
a pocket of heals that are also fighting on the battlefield field for you. And what's really interesting, are there any spells that can convert temp HP? That would be really interesting if you can convert temp HP.
Convert it to what? Like
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know off the top of my head if there's any spells that like
Nothing
would
that can-
use temporary HP.
nothing that I can think of.
That should be that should be.
I mean,
like
there
a spell
is
mechanic.
there is a spell called Armor of Agathis where it gives you temp HP, and anytime your temp HP is lessened, anytime someone hits it, there is reactionary damage that is done to the opponent.
But nothing that like converts temp HP.
No, not necessarily. Not unless you're considering that temp HP is like a shield around you, and then the expulsion of it is the conversion of it to that damage. But that's as close as a terminology I would get to that.
Yeah. So what's interesting is the Flaming Shroud is also interesting, but it's kind of like, it's almost too situational because you summon the demon with that one curse. And it's like, okay, that one demon I can switch places with whenever I want. So I kind of like that these are all very much planned out. Like, you have to know what curse is going to be beneficial for you in the moment, because it's not like you can change it up. Like, you're either going to do the life curse.
So at the time of summoning, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I like that.
I'm curious
if
if you have to choose one curse for all of them, or if you can.
When you summon a demons, you can invoke a demon's curse on the newly summoned demons. So it's not well written enough to specify. I personally think it should be one effect per summon, like per spell. So if you have 8 demons, you're going to get the one. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense instead of having to sit there and divvy it up. Because as a DM, you summon 8 demons and tell me that 2 of them have the teleportation, 2 of them have the life, and then
those are the teleportation ones, man. No, those are the healing ones, man. That one just died. I really need the help.
I'm telling y'all right now, as a DM, we ain't having that discussion. Okay, that's not happening. But also at the same time, again,
just get some tape and label them. That's all you gotta do.
I imagine, because if you think about it, you aren't technically summoning individual demons. You are casting one spell and implementing a curse upon that which is summoned from the single spell. That's how, again, because the spell, because the writing doesn't specify, that's how I would interpret it, as it is a spell, right? You aren't summoning individual demons. It is just a one-time thing. I think it should be a blanket curse myself. I also think that limits some of the tacticalness to it, in terms of, again, you're not like divvying everything up. It's kind of a like even like when you were saying too, like you can cast this thing twice. So I could be like, okay, summon one my first round with the life, because the
healing ones.
you have the high CR, so I want the high bonus. But then I can summon these guys. I want to summon 2 of these, and I want Shroud on both of those. So I'm going to cast these with the Shroud curse, so they can maneuver more, and then I can teleport around where I have my big guy kind of being the shield. So I kind of like that being the more tactical aspect than being able to just be like, well, I have 8, and then everyone's doing everything all at once. But then again, think about it. You could get 8 demons, but all of them have Shroud. So as a bonus action, you're just zipping around the entire map.
That'd be some like Nightcrawler stuff, bro.
Right. And it's like, it's interesting that they, oh man, because it's called Flaming Shroud, I'd almost want it to be like, when you do it, the place that you leave like erupts in fire.
Okay, did you ever watch the really, really old show? It wasn't Bewitched. What was the one with the 3 girls? Charmed. Mm-hmm. You watched that old one?
Yep.
Do you remember the boyfriend of like the youngest of the 3 sisters? And he was a demon, and his name was Balthazar.
Yeah, Balthazar.
Right? You remember that dude? Okay, whenever they would teleport in that game, like they always looked different. But when he teleported, especially when he was like Uber Demon Man, it was just this like
the
column
flame
of fire. Just like when I hear demon,
like Flame Shroud, yeah.
that's the thought that goes through my head. I'm like, he's just shrouded in flames and then gone, or at least replaced with whatever demon was there.
Yeah. It almost sucks that you can't like take the place of the demon and then like the demon doesn't switch places with you, but what's left in your place is basically like almost like an explosive, like a fire. You can teleport, but by sacrificing your demon, you basically teleport and then like leave behind like a 2x2 explosive or a 3x3 that would explode on where you were.
That's crazy.
That would be interesting too. But yeah, so far with level 5, I think all of them are good. I think the curses make sense. I think that I think that unfortunately this undoes level 2's purpose. So again, without the expandedness, I think it was just mainly excess text. But yeah, I don't dislike the life curse. I think that your proficiency modifier multiplied by the CR level, it does make sense. Especially because if you think about what is, summon greater demon, once those CR levels get pretty higher, those are probably going to be very much more useful for life curse. So yeah, and then the other ones, having them rage or being able to switch their places. The rage one kind of scares me, but
I kind of really want to see the rage one. I'm not even gonna lie.
That like just having a bunch of demons show up raging on the battlefield instantaneously, just that could turn the battle quick.
8 of them, bro. 8 of them.
Right?
Even if they're just little and annoying, if they have advantage on everything, bro.
I know, man. That's why it scares me,
bro. Imagine you got a bunch of little spider demons. That would be some of the scariest.
All right. So at level 8, we get a level 8 feature, Fiend's Control. At 8th level, you've become inept in fiend magic and can channel a spell through a demon's body as if it's your own. That is half your wizard level rounded down. May use this feature up to your proficiency bonus and regain this feature on. Okay, so you can only use this once. It seems like, because it says regain this feature on a long rest, so it seems like it's once per day, or once per long rest. So you become inept. You can channel a spell through a demon's body as if your own. That is half your wizard's level rounded down.
Okay.
May use this feature up to your proficiency bonus. I'm kind of confused on how this is written.
Okay, so let's.
So I get the part where so the idea is that you've summoned these creatures on the battlefield, right? You've had a curse on them. Now at 8th level, I can cast a spell through them on the battlefield.
Yes.
That's the part I get.
Okay, similar to how you can if you can cast a spell through your familiar as a wizard if you use the find familiar spell.
So
I'm relating
this part
that.
though, through a demon's body, that is okay. So if we go as if you're own, if we get rid of that, through a demon's body that is half your wizard's level rounded down. What does that mean?
So
is that the CR level of the demon?
Yes.
So the demon's CR, as long as the CR is half your level rounded down.
Yeah. So like if the CR is 1, like you would have to be a level 2 or higher.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
And then may use this feature. So a demon that is half your wizard level may use this feature up to your. So what does the get to use this feature up to your proficiency modifier?
So that would mean I can cast, if I have a proficiency modifier of 3, I can cast 3 spells through a demon. Before I have to take a long rest.
Okay.
That's how I'm reading that.
Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. So I do like the idea of being able to cast through the other demons. I guess my first question is going to be, why do we feel the need to limit that? Is that OP? Is that just too OP on the battlefield to have more that is? I mean, I'm just trying to think of like, in that respect, how.
So imagine, I want to cast lightning bolt. right? Lightning bolt is a pretty powerful spell, kind of like fireball, but the difference is it's in a straight line. So it is most valuable when all of its targets are lined up. But you don't always have the positioning on the battlefield to do so. But imagine I had 8 spies on the battlefield and I could cast a spell through any of them, and I could get them, I could line up whoever I need, however I need to hit this lightning bolt spell at any point in time on the battlefield. Like, I can see that being a benefit that one would use it for. Again, that's a 3rd level spell. Like, you're not going to be casting it that much. To be honest, I don't think there's a huge need to limit it. I don't think I don't think it can be super scary to like have casting points all over the battlefield. Again, you're still only ever going to be able to cast 1 spell per turn. Like, that's not changing. You're still only going to be able to cast the level of spells that you have, the number of spells that you have. You're still limited the same way. You just have a little bit more diversity on where you're casting it from. So, I don't know. I mean,
I'm just thinking, like, so I guess also, is there any need to limit what type of demon you can cast it through? I mean, if you're worried about casting it through a demon of too high of class, but then again, you're only, because here's my thing, right? By saying that you can't cast it to a higher CR demon, what you're basically saying is you can't use this when you only summon 1, right? Because the idea is that that's usually going to be closer to your level. That means it's only going to work when you have the multitude, but that's when it's going to be the most beneficial. So in my opinion, it shouldn't be about which demon you can do it through. It should be you can do it through any of your summoned demons as many times as your proficiency modifier. Just like that. So if your proficiency modifier is 2, you can do it twice. Just make it simple. If you really wanted to make it like,
I think instinctually people want to balance things like level. And so like they might have added that in there thinking that it was helping.
I think that, you could also look at it from a point of view of maybe your proficiency bonus is essentially the accumulative spells you can cast, like the cumulative level. So if you have 3 proficiency points, right? Your proficiency bonus is 3, you can cast a level 30 spell, a level 2 and a level 1 spell, or 3 level 3 spells through your demon per long rest. So the idea is that your proficiency allows for, that's the level of ability you can cast through them at any interval of level, right? So 3 level 1s, 1 and 1, a 2 and a 1, whatever you want to do it.
Mix and match.
But that also means that you could keep track of it between different demons and different summons. If you're in one encounter and do 1 summon, and then you're in a different encounter and do a different summon but haven't had a long rest, you'd still be able to say, well, I have still 2 more. So I think that could be simplified. I like it. I think it's a great option for level 8, and I don't think you see a lot at level 8. Like, no, it's usually waiting until level 10.
Although
so I do kind of like that thrown in there.
I do think that might be the standard wizard tree. Let me look.
Do they get like a feature or like a ability score?
So their arcane features are traditionally at level 2, level 6, level 10, level 14, and that's it. Then the other 2 are class features.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's great for level 8. I think that makes sense a lot.
I like it though.
I did read the spell Cosmic because I had posted some of the ideas that I had. I know that you commented that it's the rod plan for you wasn't supposed to be like necessarily a weapon. I just threw out the idea of having a javelin just because if you're going to be carrying around the rod, I like the idea that if you're going to be throwing it, a javelin makes sense to me in terms of being able to be accurate and throwing it behind enemies, but it also being able to be a weapon while you're holding it. Yes, you could also consider being able to throw the javelin at an enemy and then have the wire idea I was thinking of. But yeah, I only suggested the javelin specifically because like going through water and everything, or even going through the air and being able to put it behind enemies, and even like if you're on land, being able to throw it and have it stick into the the ground right behind them. That was just the mindset that I had, and the only thing I could think of is like the javelin with like a nice pointed edge. Plus, again, as you're holding it, you could melee people off of it. But yeah, I like the idea. I want to know what I hope you write up. Let us know like what your DM came up with, and if it worked, because I know that he had. Did you read that yet in the Discord?
I don't think I did. Was this in the community chat?
Yeah, he posted a big plan of his on what he's trying to get his DM to approve.
Ooh, I gotta check this out.
You'll like it. It's using like copper rods to help direct lightning spells.
That's kind of sick.
By the way, let me use this opportunity to post our Discord link if anybody wants to join the community and post your own homebrew review for us to check out.
Heck yes.
Or if you have other ideas and other plans and schemes like Cosmic does and you want to share it with us, let us know. You can check that out in the Discord. And Serotonin is helping with the plan, so they're actually helping out. The intention is to change the lightning bolt's line into a cone, and then the lightning attracts to the copper and the salty water being a conductor. So because they have this is their ship on the seas campaign.
Oh, that's right.
With
That's
his,
right.
Aarakocra. So
that's right.
Having this underwater and all of that, I love the idea. I was just thinking like to make it make sense, like when I'm put in the position of it, throwing around this copper rod, it just would make sense to be slightly pointed. And that my mind just went to like, oh, well, why not have a javelin? Those can be carried on the back. They're small, they're lightweight, they can be thrown, and it fits everything that they were doing. But I really like the idea of taking the time to think about the setting and go, well, this is how lightning bolt normally works, but this is how I would really want it to work, and how do I make that work? And that's what I really am liking about like what Cosmic and his DM are doing, is because that's not something that I think most people would be comfortable with. They would just be like, no, lightning does what the spell lightning does. But really playing with the physics, playing with what the world does and trying to turn it into something using what the setting has provided. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Very nice.
They didn't get to use it. There wasn't any underwater combat, so we didn't get to use it today. So we will get that update soon. Hopefully we will get that update soon to see if it works.
So soon.
Have you talked to your DM about that, or is it just a plan that you're going to throw at them when it happens? I'm curious.
Mid combat.
All right. So level 8 feature actually I think is really good too. Level 10 feature. Ooh, here we go. Level 10 feature. We can resist corruption. From 10th level, in your constant interaction with fiends, you have become resistant to their powers. You have advantage on saving throws against spells and magical effects from fiends.
That's sick.
So this leads into the idea that you're going to be fighting these demons, or like you're going to be somewhat like contesting these demons on the regular.
I mean, think about it. Like when you summon a demon, like it is difficult to control them, right?
And then they're usually not going to be too happy with you.
Exactly.
This is why I like the idea if you fail true name, they get yours. So every time you fail trying to get a demon's name, like that's a cue for the DM to like send more and make it more and more difficult for you. Like every time you try and fail, they just send more thugs after you, right? And the higher the demon, the harder. Like that could be part of like the whole like gig of it. And yeah, so it's just against it's just against them as enemies. I mean, it's really starting to feel though that this is very campaign specific. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
This is again, a lot of these are great, but these are very character oriented. These are like this character, not the party, not the enemies. Because I mean, again, unless you're in a campaign that you're fighting fiends, being able to like have advantage against fiends is going to not be that helpful to anybody unless that is actively what you're doing, right?
I mean, I think unless the dynamic in which this works with the class means that anytime you summon these demons, you have to interact with the ones that you summon. And then it'll be really helpful for you to always have something that's going to give you advantage while you're interacting with these summons, because you're going to have to be doing that all the time every time you summon them. Because you might have to fight back on, especially maybe anything that's like half your level or higher, you're going to have to contend with. Like it's going to be pushing back. It's going to be fighting against your control or something like that.
Oh, how about this? What if you did something to where it's like you made this... This would be really highly altering it, but what if you made the summon spells concentration based, but concentration wasn't to keep them there, it was to keep them under control and on your side. So you summon them, but if your concentration's broken,
they don't go away.
Now the DM basically goes, oh,
now they're mine.
Now they're a third group in this encounter, and they will just like the DM basically takes over, and they're just demons now. But then you can have like checks, like you were thinking about like trying to retake over.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like the idea of having like to keep them in check. Like literally, I like this.
That would be cool. And I don't think that would be too far of a stretch off. Like, you know.
And that would make perfect sense if that could happen. If you could lose control over what you summon, I think this makes perfect sense because then you're essentially gearing yourself up to, if you lose control, to regain control. So at 10th level, you also get Chaotic Chance. So at 10th level, there's a 30% chance you summon a random enemy demon that is a +2 CR of a summoned demon when casting a summoned demon spell. So I'm assuming what this means is that starting at level 10, anytime you summon a demon, there's a 30% chance that whatever demon you summoned, that CR +2 demon will arrive. And that's an enemy demon. So it kind of goes into the idea of what we were just talking about, where that's the challenge, is you have a 30% chance that you will just summon an enemy that you have to now face off.
And it's kind of nice because it'll also attack the enemies, and if you can, you know, make yourself look less appetizing than the enemy, maybe it'll go after them at least first.
Maybe. That's fascinating.
That's crazy.
But starting at level 10 though, like that's... I'm trying to think about where you are in gameplay, right? Think about where you are in the campaign. You're level 10. And suddenly 30% chance your whole purpose, your best feature that you've had up to this point now is a 30% chance of TPK in the game.
But do you think that at that level that, okay, what I
guess it depends on what
single CR level would have to be able to TPK a level 10
that's fair, because if you're thinking of lesser demon, because right now we only have lesser demon, assuming that you don't learn greater demon.
You are level 10, so you definitely have the ability to get greater demon.
And greater demon summoned a what CR?
Let me look that up real quick.
Because even at lesser demon, you said it was a 3 CR.
The max you could do with lesser demon is a 1.
Oh, the 1. So you would get a 3 CR demon at that one.
Would it be 3? Would it not just be 2?
Well, it's a +2 to the CR. So if you have a max 1, it would be +2 to that.
Oh, okay.
So it would summon a 3 CR demon, which that wouldn't be life-changing. That wouldn't be TPK. I guess it really depends on what greater demon. Because really what it comes down to is like, it's in that clutch moment when you want to summon like the best demon you can.
Challenge rating 5 or lower.
So 5. So the worst you could ever possibly get is a CR7. But at the same time, you also got to look at when you're casting this. If you haven't cast this,
Fiend is level 6 though, and that is choose a demon, devil, or Yogloth. What's a Yogloth?
So I see the concept here. I'm just trying to think of, like, again, I'm level 10, I'm level 12. This is my main feature, is summoning and controlling demons. But
imagine this.
Summoning one that will suddenly attack the group.
Imagine this. Yes, you summon one that could potentially attack the group. But again, to you and your party, it's such a low level that if it does turn to you guys could squash it pretty easily. But you also have the ability, like we were talking about. Imagine you do lose control of your demons. You can try and reassert control over them. Imagine this chaotic demon, maybe you could try to assert control over it. Even though it wasn't originally yours, you could try to, especially like this is what your whole class is all about and everything. And
also, does this technically, because it's a 30% chance, because it says by the rules, by the letter, it says you have a 30% chance you summon a random enemy, right? And then a random enemy demon, you summon it.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, anything you summon can be put a curse on. So if you happen to shroud curse when this happens, right? Can
you shroud curse with the random
enemy?
Yes.
Because now I'm thinking that if that's happening, I'm near a cliff. I just take a sprinting run. I dive off the cliff, look back, and go change places.
I don't see why not. That's rules is written. That's perfect. That would be
because it says you summon it, and technically any demon you summon gets a curse. So you could just like totally shroud that demon and then just put it in harm's way. You could literally, because it's a bonus action, I believe, to shroud. So you could run right in the middle of the enemies and just go boop, and then just put the new demon
I want to
right
literally
there.
jump into a dragon's mouth and then use my bonus action to change places as it chomps down.
Okay, so there's merit to these things. There's some merit to this stuff.
That's sick.
You know what I would almost want to do is like, what would we have here? Like,
Oh, that would be crazy if you did a rage one and then it was hit the 30% chance and then you had a raging.
So I wouldn't even mind saying that at level 10, you start with a 10% chance to do that this happens, and it goes up 5% every level. So at that point, it should end at 60% chance at level 20. So at level 20, you're beefy. You have a 60% chance every time you summon one that one's going to be pissed at you. And I think that makes sense even more so because that represents all of the demons that are after you for trying to get their name all these years. It's everyone trying to like come in.
Opposite, like you start at like a 30% chance or a 40% chance, and it like goes down with the extent to like a 5 or a 10% chance, stopping like bottoming out there, just because you gain more control over the years and you become more powerful as a wizard and learn how to better protect yourself from these things.
I mean, I see your mentality on that one, but then it should be like starting from level 1 then. Like it should be a grind. I think if it's starting in the middle, it wouldn't be too bad, right? Like at level 10, because it's like at level 10, you're just getting the groove of this character, right? You're getting the groove of how to use it. You're summoning demons. And now all of a sudden it's like, 10% chance that might backfire. No big deal. We could take it. And then it's like 5% every level, right? So it's like level 12, it's only a 20% chance. Level 14, it's only a 30% chance. But by level 20, it's BBEG time. And it's like 60% chance we get a buddy / enemy on the battlefield. Like, because, it's just getting more chaotic. It's getting more powerful. You've got, and the idea of, again, depending on your lore, you're summoning demons from their realm. You're making a name for yourself and not a good one in the demon worlds, right? So all of a sudden you're summoning demons. What if that demon is like the right-hand man or the brother or the servant to a bigger demon? That's the one I imagine that's coming after you. It's like, oh, hell no. This mortal thought he could take nope.
But imagine you had a bard in your group, and he was so good at double
seducing
talk that
demons?
whenever that the demon came out, he was able to convince that demon that it was the BBEG's fault. And now that motherfucker is pissed at the BBEG.
No. I got a way to tie this in to make it. I got a way to make this make way more sense. Because you have true name, you're assuming that the character is going to be constantly using it. I like the idea. It goes up over time, so you have up to like a 60% chance at level 20. But at the same time, the chance also goes up that the demon summoned, its name. Like there's a 1% chance for like every demon you've successfully gotten the name of. So it's like there would be another roll to where it's like if it gets summoned, you get a roll table and you get a roll on a different table, and you have a percentage chance that that's a demon that its name. Because imagine that, right? BBEG battle, you're level 20, you have a 6% chance, you're summoning a level CR5 demon, a level 7 demon gets sprung out, it's crowding over everybody, like just looking at you, about to crush it, and you're like,
don't I know your name?
Yeah, you're just like, what's up? You're mine on this battle now. And then you say its name, and instantly it's now yours for the battle. And then you can banish it at the end of that, like, and you just save your, like, that would be so cool, because then it would give you an early game incentive to constantly be finding names of demons anytime you found a name, because later in the world, later down the world,
book of demon names,
you know. And how cool would that be? Like, every time you summon a demon, you have a 1% chance that you know its name, because, you know, you're just summoning random demons with the same random, but maybe you have a 1% chance, you know, but the enemy demon that you summon after level 10, maybe that's a 10% chance you know its name. So it's that balance of, yeah, it kind of sucks that you're going to get more and more chances of this happening, but you're also going to get more and more chances that it's the one you're looking for,
right?
Or one that you can now, like what we were talking about, fully use in battle. Like, nope, I just got a free demon on the battlefield, totally free.
Right?
That would be super interesting. Like, I would really like to know where Drabz's lore comes from,
right,
in terms of, like, demonology, and I don't know if it's just D&D based, or if he has any inspirations, because there's so much here. We're not even done yet. So last one at 14th level. Interesting that it's at 14th, but I'm kind of liking that it's unique, and I kind of liking that it's a little bit different. So at 14th level, we get Fiendish Investiture.
Oh, okay.
Fiendish Investiture. Your continued contract with fiends has started to accumulate their essence on your body, mind, and soul. At 14th level, you are resistant to fire and poison damage, and you become immune to the poisoned condition. When you have a fiendish ally, you share its Devil's Sight and magic resistance features as long as the fiendish ally is no more than 100 feet from you and is friendly to you. So when you summon your demons, you will get their sight and their magical resistances as long as they're within the battlefield range. That's not terrible. I kind of like the resistance to fire and poison. I don't think that's... I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
I like fire. I don't know how I feel about poison. I mean, yes, I could see it, but...
I mean, a choice, fire or poison. At 14th level, you get to choose based on what fiends you've interacted with.
Sure.
I also like the idea of... because it says it accumulates on your body, mind, and soul, I think that this should permanently grow. You can either roll for it or let the player choose, but like maybe like a 1d6 roll table. But because of this, you grow a horn, an eye, or a sigil,
a
tail, hooves. Like, there should be a roll table, and at 14th level, because it says it accumulates on your body, you should...
forked tongue.
Yes, something about your physical body should manifest as a demon or a fiend in some small way, or not small way, but like not necessarily something that's harder to hide. You know what I mean? So it's like...
I mean, you can definitely hide it, but like, wear some glasses if it's your eyes, you know, don't stick your tongue out a lot if it's your tongue, you know?
That would be really cool. I think the Fiendish Investiture, it should come with like a physical effect, because it really would show all of the accumulation of everything that you've literally like succumbed to and exposed yourself to. And it could be like, you know, that's an expression of like how you control the demons and whatnot.
I like it.
So that's all we have here. So that's it. That is what we have for the School of Fiendish Tradition. So overall, it's actually really, really good. It has a couple unique aspects. It doesn't play to the standard leveling model, which I like, and it has a cool lore direction.
I got a question about this last feature. So theoretically, if I had multiple different types of demons summoned at the same time, and they were all within 100 feet of me, would I get all of their effects?
No.
No.
I'm assuming that when you have a fiendish ally, you share its Devil's Sight. I'm assuming it's intended to be one of them. So it's probably the best one. Because I don't think things like that, besides things like that don't typically stack. Like magical resistance don't typically stack.
Even in the cosmics. He's got those beautiful resistance cloaks. those you have multiple resistances on there.
Multiple types, but so you're talking about like if you have multiple demons that have different types of magical resistances.
Yeah. If you have like
so I guess
one's
yeah,
immune to
I
radiant
guess
damage
then
and
yeah,
another one's immune to necrotic damage, and then
I don't know how the demons that works when you summon demons. I don't know how those actually work, but yeah, I mean, I guess it just says when you have a fiendish ally, so any fiendish ally that's on the battlefield for you. What would be really interesting too? Does that mean that if you have a party member, a player character that has a fiendish race? Can you play a fiendish race in 5th edition?
you can play tieflings.
Is that technically considered fiendish?
They are technically half devils.
That would be interesting if you allowed that like stretch to that character. That would be interesting. So why I don't see why you wouldn't be able to share any magic resistances. At that point, you should be able to share multiple magic resistances.
Especially if they have to be friendly to you, right?
Has to be the friendly one.
They have to be friendly.
Yeah.
I was about to say if that random one that you summoned.
Oh yeah.
That was a level 7. But if you knew its name and then you made it friendly to you,
I don't know if that would be considered friendly or dominated
or enslaved.
Yeah, there's the two things. But overall I like it. I think that obviously needs some adjustments. I think that it's really hitting on a lot more of what we've been talking about in our previous streams about like the role play class.
Yeah.
This is definitely something that is highly invested either in a very specific campaign setting or it is for a very specific purpose that is between the character and the player.
The character has a lot of like work to do with that character, with that build, with
and if it's
developing
not the whole
that
setting,
yes.
it has to be a lot of the DM and the player working together to make sure that this doesn't overtake a party game if it's not a one-on-one session. But like again, the party could be dealing with demons all the time, but unless the rest of the party has something to do with all of this is very dependent upon the DM and the player working together, which I don't dislike. I like classes. I think there should be more classes that lean that way, that lean towards the interaction between the DM and the player. Because right now, a lot of the classes are, I don't want to say cookie cut, that's the wrong word. They are paint by numbers at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like building a character is so easy for anyone to do that I kind of like that this puts a lot more.
Imagine there was a campaign setting like in the underworld, like where demons live.
There is. So, I mean, I don't know if there's one in 5th
yes,
edition.
there is. But what I'm saying is like just for this particular thought experiment, that there's a scenario, there's a setting where you're literally like in a demon world, and you guys are down there. And you are interacting with all these people, and you got like tournaments and different things that you go through. But like what you do as a wizard, you don't just summon like weird little like demon creatures, like it's traditionally thought of a lot of the times. Like, but you summon these other people. You summon these other like individuals that are out here, and you could be in a tournament and summon somebody from the audience. You know, you could be in a tournament and summon one of the judges out here.
That'd be hilarious.
Like you could just be out here and trying to do all this stuff. I just imagine like all the different possibilities, especially with that chaotic feature where you just grab somebody, you don't know who the heck it's gonna be, and
it would be really interesting to see what DMs would do, because I think what I would do with that chaotic feature is that it wouldn't be so much that you chaotically pull. I wouldn't have it as the spell pulls randomly an enemy demon. I like the idea it's the 30% chance that your summon pulled the wrong demon and their boss or their predecessor or whatever is mad, and they're the ones that came down, or a much higher demon is getting mad at you for constantly pulling their people. So that 30% chance is them finally being like, hey, you go deal with him. Like he's just sending someone after you because he's done with your shit. Or again, if you do learn a demon's name, maybe you could make that a whole thing where it's like the very first demon you ever learned, he's been plotting against you the whole time. But I would make it a little bit more like the enemy demon being summoned is much more intentional. In High Point, it would be much more intentional
against the summoner.
Not just a random demon was suddenly here and now he's aggro on you. No, he's here because he's here intentionally, not because your spell. It just the roll was just the trigger. But
Yeah.
I would personally have that as high points change.
But if that's the high point trigger, would you then say that they get cursed? Because then it's not you summoning them.
Correct.
Then that's their
that
boss
it would not be
sending them.
the curse would not apply to them because they weren't like again that's the contradictory of how the spell is written is it's
Right.
the spell says you summon them, which I still think is great because as the spell is written you get to abuse the curse. But for high point I would say that the enemy one is on its own. It is not affected by you. It's
its own entity.
It was sent or it arrived itself, but you didn't bring it.
Got you.
Your actions brought it, but you didn't bring it. But yeah, I love it. I think that this is such a cool concept. Again, it's very specific. So I hate to give it a knock, but I don't feel that this is very. I have to give it 1 point off because it's not as a universal option. I would love to take something like this and play with it. I would love to see what game setting this would work in. I could see areas of high point working with this, but I couldn't see it working outside of that, right? Like I couldn't see like we made Dovd, and Dovd was an earthbender, or based on the earthbending lineage, and it's great because you were able to. We didn't have to keep you in that zone. You immediately were able to just go out and explore the rest of High Point. Whereas like with this, as written, it's not like you would be this class and then go explore around Septim's Tier and then
you're not
go
hanging
to
out with
Pocket
a demon
Watch
out and
and then go to Therongold. Like you're not doing all of those things with this particular class, right? You're not gonna be in the middle of a forest and just like fighting bandits with this particular class, right? And that's, I have to kind of give it a knock because as much as I want to see more classes like this, it's gonna take one more point down just because it's not as accessible to, I would say, most DMs and most game styles. Because most DMs would be like, cool, you built this character, awesome, what can you do? And it's like, sure, you can learn their name if you run into one. And then they would move on. If they didn't build it to where there's going to be demons, if they didn't work with you on this,
if they didn't have a actual need for their name to be valuable, if they didn't have lore behind that, if they didn't have mechanics or whatever.
And that's the hard thing, right? It's like I really like it. I love the build itself.
Do you think that it could have included mechanics for what a name would allow one to do? And would that have been
I think
more...
so. I think that if the DM... I don't know if 5th edition has anything for that.
No, but like imagine you just wrote it into the class to where when a wizard of this subclass learns a demon's true name, they have the ability to summon them whenever they wish once per day.
Right. And that's, I 100% agree. It would be a perfect way to say once you've gained a name, these are what you can do with it.
Oh, homie over there is tripping.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, there is nothing. Let's see here. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, interesting. When was that done? So apparently there are rules as written now. Apparently in 2019 they released Onomancy, the magic of names. In 2019, that was released.
Really?
Onomancy is from Unearthed Arcana. So yes, there is.
I would love to take a gander at this if we can find resources for that.
There is. So
we should put that.
Let's see here. Boom, Onomancy. Practice, well known. So bonus proficiencies, level 2, you gain a language of your choice.
Oh, so it's its own subclass.
Yeah. Extract name. At 2nd level, you can magically compel a creature to divulge a true name. As a bonus action, you can target one creature you see within 60 feet. Wisdom saving throw. against. Oh wait, the target must make a Wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a successful save, you discern this. You discern that this is failed. You can't use it. Blah blah blah. Fateful naming. Ooh, is that except for the words? Tailor spells through the target's true name. Oh. So yeah, so this is actually it. This breaks down what you can kind of do. If the name of the target is affected by any of the spell, the first time the name of the creature takes damage from the spell. Interesting, but this isn't. So yeah, that's just it. It's just a they just created their own subclass for it. So I'm trying to figure out what you can do with the names.
Were those down at the bottom? Was that not a list of the options?
So fateful naming. So starting at second level, you can bend magic to assist or hinder creatures to the power of their true name, and even use those names as an anchor to affect others around them. The Bane and Bless spells are wizard spells for you. That's cool. And you add them to your spell book. You always have them prepared, yet they don't count against the number of spells you can prepare.
I like that.
You can cast either spell without expending a spell slot if you speak the true name of the one target of the spell as part of the casting. That's dope. That's where the true name comes into play.
That's cool as shit.
Only for Bane and Bless, but that's dope.
That's cool.
You can cast a spell in this way a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, a minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's a way to use a demon name. And then at level 6, you learn words of power called Resonance, which allow you to tailor your spells through the use of the target's true name. When you gain this feature, you learn 2 resonance of your choice, which are down below. Using them, you can use 1 resonant when you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot and speak the true name of one creature targeted by the spell. Speaking the name of this part of the speaking the name as part of the casting the spell. You can use the resonance a number of times equal to half of your wizard's level, rounded down, and you regain all expended uses when in a long rest. So you get 2 of these, and you can use them whenever you cast a spell while you say their name. Like but you also have to be using a spell slot, so you can't be using this when you get the free one.
What do you mean when you get the free one?
So if you want to do Bane or Bless, you get that for free.
Yeah.
But if you're doing any other spell, this is what happens. You have to use a spell slot.
Yeah.
So Absorption is one option. When you cast a spell that deals damage to the named target, you gain 3d6 temporary hit points. Number of hit points you gain increases by 1d6 when you reach 10th level. Okay, yeah, it just keeps going up as you reach level. Devastation. If the spell requires the named creature to make a saving throw, the creature has disadvantage on the first save it makes.
Oh.
Disillusion. The first time the named creature takes damage from the spell, the creature takes an extra 2d8 force damage. The extra force damage increases by 1d8 as you level up. Nullification. If the named target is affected by any other spells, you know what those spells are, and you can attempt to end one of your choice by succeeding an intelligence save against a DC.
So if they got haste on them, be like, no, you don't.
Yep. Puppetry. The first time the named creature takes damage from the spell, you can knock the creature prone or move it up to 10 feet, either directly towards you or away from you. Sympathy. If the named creature is within this range of the spell, you can target the creature with the spell, even if you can't see the creature or if it has total cover against the spell.
So if they're invisible?
Yeah. And then at 10th level, you learn 2 new resonance. And then at the 14th level, you have learned how to bypass a named creature's defenses against certain types of damage. When you cast a spell that deals damage to a creature whose true name you speak as part of the casting the spell, you can cause the spell to deal force or psychic damage to the creature instead of the spell's normal damage type. So if it's immune to fire, you can cast Fireball all you fucking want and cast psychic damage at Fireball levels. That's how D&D says you should do naming. So considering that this is a 3rd level trying to find the true name, he's on the right track, and I don't know if he knows about this. Maybe he saw this and is trying to do it specifically for demons, and I think that's fantastic. I think that this is really cool, but it is just very everything. I kind of like where he was going with trying to make it more specific to demons.
Yeah.
But that's how you do naming. that's how you do powers of name in a D&D setting, I think. At least how D&D does it. In High Point, it's a little bit more along the Dresden Files aspect,
Right.
where you get a little bit more control, and you can do a little bit more. It's a little bit more valuable to people, so it's kind of it's a currency almost to know people's names. But yeah, this is that was cool to know. I didn't know that they made that so long ago, but I wasn't really paying attention to what they were doing in 2019. So
That's fair.
cool.
But
So
I like that. I like that.
I think with all of this, I think it does need a little bit of work. I think that it can have a lot of potential, and I think it can work its way into belonging in a good majority of games. I just
Yes.
think as is right now, it would be super hard to fit in the majority of gameplays. So with that, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay.
I really liked it. I wanted to give it a solid
very
7.
good. That's good.
I liked it enough to give it a 7 or an 8. I just it again, because it's not as accessible to people, I have to bring it down a little bit. But I like it enough that it's definitely not a 5. Like it has a lot of merit and a lot of potential.
Fantastic.
All right. But yeah, so that was us. Hopefully, I don't know if anybody from the raid party is still in here, but thank you guys so much for coming in. J7 again, thank you for the raid. If you guys stuck around, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We do this normally every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We were delayed due to weather and power outages, so that's why we're here on Tuesday today. But if you do kind of like this content, come back every Monday. We also stream Friday, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we do more deep dive episodes. We'll pick a D&D topic, and either myself or if Kage is with me, together we'll just kind of deep dive, talk about a lot of our experiences, and talk about our thoughts and ideas about the direction of D&D and decisions that they've made. And then, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing right now, twice a week. If you guys do like it, go ahead and join our Discord, where you can let us know what topics you want to hear us talk about. If you have questions you want to hear us answer on stream, or if you just want to ask us questions directly, you can ask them in the Discord, and we'll answer them there as well. If you have homebrew that you want to send us, classes, items, spells, anything that you've made that you would like us to review live on Mondays, go ahead and submit that as well. Or if you're working on something and you just want to get a community of gamers, DMs and players alike, and you want to get feedback, we also just have areas where you could submit that and chit chat about it, and it doesn't go on stream. So yeah, if that sounds interesting, go ahead and join the community. Otherwise, that's going to be us for tonight. If you caught us on YouTube, like and subscribe if you liked it. Let us know in the comments what you didn't like or what you did like, and we can make it better. Otherwise, I think that's going to be us for this Tuesday. I hope you guys had a good start to your week. Hope you have a good rest of your week, and we'll be back on Friday.
Deuces, my friends.